Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Center Grove Sports Show here at Campbell's Highland Grille. Kevin Conrad, your host, and tonight we're celebrating a couple of fourth-grade travel basketball teams from Center Grove, and here in our first segment we have head coach Jake Medlin, who his team won the Indy Hoops Championship. Coach, thanks for being on the show, and congratulations.
Kevin, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and we're just happy to be able to celebrate and wrap up the season.
Well, Coach, tell me about this great team this year. You guys end the season, Indy Hoops champs. Talk about how much this team progressed throughout the season.
Well, this team has really done excellent over the course of the year and really progressed well. The hallmark of this team has been hard work and defense throughout the season, and their progress throughout the year has really been pretty remarkable. And from last year to this year, for sure, the last year's team, most of these guys played together last year as well and didn't have a whole lot of success. And this year, through their hard work, they were able to get to a record of 23-7. So we're really proud of our achievements this year.
Maybe talk about this championship run, Coach. You had to come from behind in a lot of these games to win the championship.
Yeah, we did. Our hallmark all year has been defense and just outworking the other team. So there were some times where we came up against some teams that could really shoot and had a lot of skill. And then at the end of the year, when it came to tournament time, these guys they just had a knack for knowing when they had to dig in. I have a lot more gray hairs than I did to start the season. But in our final game, in the last 6 minutes, was it 6 minutes? We had 9 steals. So really the guys dug in and scored well and played defense, and that led to a lot of offense that allowed us to win the championship.
All right, Coach. Let's bring your team up one at a time. Let's introduce the players, and we'll start with number 3. Come on up.
Sure.
Who's this, Coach?
This is Jaden Biggerstaff. He's one of our point guards, and really one of the great things about Jaden is not only was he our MVP this year, but Jaden was also our defensive player of the year, and he really was somebody that we could count on to get a steal and an easy basket when it counted.
So, Jaden, you like to play defense, right?
Yeah.
Why do you like to play defense?
I don't really know. Just.
Because you're pretty good at it?
Yeah.
How about playing for this team? How special is it to play with this team and to win that championship this year?
Really good. Feels good.
Talk about your offense. Do you like to score?
Yeah.
Yeah? How do you score? You going to the basket, shooting some threes, driving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't really shoot threes.
Talk about how much you guys practice. What did you work on this year in practice that made you so much better?
Really free throws and shooting.
Coach, any more thoughts about this young man before we let him go?
I couldn't be proud of him. He was one of those boys that was just incredibly tough. He would get knocked down a lot, but he would just keep going, and he would just kind of shrug it off and keep playing. And I was just awfully proud of him, as I was the rest of his teammates this year. But Jaden can be a special athlete for Center Grove, so Jaden Biggerstaff's a name that we're going to want to remember.
Jaden, thanks for being on the show. Congratulations on the championship.
Thanks.
All right,
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
All right, Coach, got our next player up. Come on up.
This is Carson Medlin. Also happens to be my son, so I might have been a little bit harder on him than probably most. But Carson is another really hard worker. He's incredibly quick, and he did a really good job of sticking his nose in on defense and getting rebounds and getting our fast break started.
Carson, talk about this great team and winning the championship this year.
It's great. The other team was really good, but in the last 6 minutes, like Coach said, we really dug our nose deep and we fight back.
I say, Coach said you guys had to come from behind quite a few times here in the tournament. Why are we able to come back? What was the key reason for that, you think?
Our defense, it's always the key reason for that. Most of our close games, we've always been behind at halftime. The third quarter's always been our quarter.
Explain your game a little bit. Sounds like Dad said you're a good defensive player, but maybe talk about your offense.
Yeah, our offense is good. For some of our plays, I'm usually the main ball handler. I'm another one of the point guards too. Sometimes we can be a little bit rusty at the beginning, but we always come back with our defense.
Carson, congratulations on the championship, and all the best to you. Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Great kid.
Yeah.
Well spoken, Coach.
Thank you.
How about our next player, Coach?
this is Nolan McNichols. Nolan is one of our most improved players over the year. As his confidence increased over the year, his ball handling got much better, his shooting got much better, and he worked his way into the starting lineup for us at the end of the year and was right at the top of our defense. And we could always count on him for a few baskets and a couple of stops during the game.
Nolan, what's the best part about basketball? Why do you enjoy it so much?
I like playing our 2-3 defense.
Tell me about this championship game. It sounds like you had to come from behind to win, but tell me about this great final game that you guys played.
We would pass the ball around and got a ton of steals.
You have good teammates, don't you?
Yeah.
Talk about Coach. What are things he tries to teach you?
To hustle and get back on defense.
Well, Nolan, congratulations on the championship. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right,
Thanks,
who do we got
Nolan.
next up?
So this is Jake Harden. He's one half of the Harden brothers on our team. He has a twin brother, Luke, that also played with us. And Jake was just a pleasure to coach this year. He half the time I wanted to tear my hair out, and half the time I wanted to laugh. I will tell you this, at some point, he's going to be a fantastic manager at some day. He always has ideas to let you know what needs to be done. But one thing about Jake is he always brought energy, and he was always ready to go, and he was just a phenomenal teammate this year.
So, Jake, tell me about your game. Why do you like basketball so much?
Because most certainly it's fun, and because we get to play different positions and
What's the most important skill that you have right now? Dribbling, defense?
probably my shooting.
Shooting?
Yeah,
Do you like to drive or pull up and shoot?
pull up and shoot mostly.
Yeah. Any three-pointers yet, or is that a little bit too far out?
A little bit too far.
Talk about this championship run this year. A lot of hard work went into this championship run.
Yep.
What'd you guys work on a lot this year to get better, to get that
Our
championship?
defense, our offense, and mostly our defense was probably the best with our team this year.
You win those championships with defense. That's right. That's right. Well, thanks for being on the show. All the best to you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Jake.
right, thank you.
All right. So this is Eli Crow. Eli was one of our silent assassins this year. He doesn't. He's rolling his eyes at me. He doesn't say a lot, but he was a consummate teammate. He was always looking to get his teammates open. He's a really good shooter, but he would constantly defer his own shot to getting his teammates the ball. So he was just an absolute joy to coach this year.
Eli, tell me about your game a little bit this year.
Well, like you said, I don't really like passing a lot. I mean, I don't like shooting a lot, but I liked it because we could like meet up with our friends and stuff. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Talk about your teammates. You guys seem to get along really well.
Yeah, we get a lot, we get to like laugh a lot and stuff. It's super fun.
When you reflect back on this past season, what's a big highlight for you? Anything come to mind where you had a big game or a big moment?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you win that championship?
Yeah.
How cool was it to get the trophy for that championship?
Oh, that was super fun. I wanted that so bad.
I say you knew a lot of hard work went into that trophy, didn't it?
Yeah.
Eli, thanks for being on the show. All the best to you.
You too.
Thank you. All right, Coach. All right. Great team so far. We got another one here.
Yeah, we were blessed to have a lot of good boys, and their parents have done phenomenal jobs of raising them and get them out to practice and to the games. And so we were really fortunate this year with this team. So this is Reich Meyer. Reich was one of our big men this year, and we could count on him to grab rebounds for us and a lot of times get our fast break started. So he was great. His dad helped coach us also, or coach the team this year, and it was just fantastic. He's a great boy to have on the team.
So, Reich, you like to dominate the paint and get those rebounds, huh?
Yeah, mostly just try to get it inside, just get an easy layup most of all. Just
Do you have some pretty good teammates to throw it to you?
Yeah. That guy, that guy, that guy, that guy.
That's very important, right? To be a good team, you need great teammates that are willing to share the ball, right?
Yep.
How about this championship game? Talk about your performance in the big championship game.
Me and in the start, I was a little nervous and all, but at the end, I kind of really picked up the pace and got a few put back points and kind of got the team motivated and got us switching momentum.
Well, Reich, thanks for being on the show. Congratulations on the championship.
I don't want Reich to undersell himself. He led our team in scoring in our championship game, so he was a really important part of that.
Well done, Reich. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
A few more, Coach.
This is Andrew Jarrell. Andrew's our lefty. I've never met somebody who talks less than he does, but I could always count on him to. He was probably one of the more coachable players this year. If I asked him to do something, he would always smile and nod his head yes. But he was great. He was able to get quite a few buckets because he's left-handed, but he's worked on his ball handling, and he's surprised a lot of people with his move to the left, and so he was a huge addition. He wasn't on our team last year, but he was on our team this year, and he was a huge addition.
Well, talk about coming to this team this year. I hope they received you well and you fit in well with this team.
Yeah, it was fun to play with them.
Pretty fun to win a championship too, right?
Yeah.
Talk about your game a little bit. How would you explain how you play the game of basketball?
Well, whenever I play, I normally shoot, around the 3-point, and every once in a while I drive.
What were the things you try to work on this year in practice to get better for yourself?
I worked on my right hand dribbling and shooting it.
Well, thank you for being on the show. Congratulations on the championship.
Thanks, Andrew. All right, so this completes the Harden brothers on our team. This is Luke. And who's older, Luke, you or Jake?
Jake.
Jake's older by how much?
11 minutes.
11 minutes. And his number was 11. Wasn't your number 11, Jake? So I didn't even put that together until just now. But Luke was also one of our other most improved players this year. And at the end of the season, he really came on strong for us. And he gave us some good minutes when he was in and really gave us a boost with his defense and hustle there towards the end. So I was really proud of how he ended the season. And it was just great to see him improve this year.
Well, Luke, tell me about some of those hustle plays Coach talked about. Do you get after it on defense?
Yeah, most of the time. I try and steal some passes, and I'm not the strongest ball handler, so whenever I would get the ball, I would always pass it to the point guard.
How about that final game in the championship? How did you play in that game?
I think I played pretty good. I think everyone else dealt their part in the game to win the game.
What are some things you try to really work on this year to get better?
Ball handling and shooting.
Luke, thanks for being on the show. Congratulations on the championship.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, I think that's everybody, right?
Yeah, I think we got everybody.
Some final thoughts, Coach. Great team.
This really was a great team, and they worked hard. I never really there was only one or two times that I had to get on them to get them fired up and moving. But they really are they got along well, and they really are products of some great families and great parents that really support them and help them get better. And I think we achieved our goals this year. We certainly won some games. I think we improved as ball players, and then they all, I think, learned a little bit more about what it is to be good teammates and good people. And so hopefully I didn't ruin them too much, but hopefully they learned some good lessons and got some good memories that they can keep with them their entire lives.
Well, Coach Medlin, thanks for bringing this team in. Congratulations on the great season. Indy Hoops champs, all the best to you.
Thanks so much, Kevin. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right,
thank you.
We'll have more of the show after this timeout.
Welcome to Campbell's Highland Grille.
Campbell's Highland Grille, a family-owned Scottish-American sports grill in Greenwood. Dig into appetizing American food that you'll love, as well as traditional Scottish fare. Family-friendly and great specials, too. Kids eat free on Tuesdays. Enjoy our tasty breakfast on the weekend, and free Sundays on Sunday.
The best thing to eat on the menu is the Berkeley Turkey Club. No way, the best thing on the menu is bone BLT.
Campbell's Highland Grille in Greenwood.
Don't forget to top it off with Bellamy's bread pudding.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Center Grove Sports Show here at Campbell's Highland Grill. Tonight we're visiting with some fourth-grade boys basketball travel teams from the Center Grove community, and now joining us is Coach Chad Albee. And, Coach, first of all, thanks for coming in. You got a great crowd here tonight to celebrate a great season.
Well, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Well, Chad, tell us about this team that you had this year, things you worked on, and how this team progressed throughout the season.
Well, we had a really good season. We played about 43 games this year, believe it or not, which for 10-year-olds sounds kind of crazy, but we won 24 of them. We tried to challenge this group as much as we could. We played about half of those games against fifth graders, which obviously is a grade above them, and we went about 500 against the fifth grade players in that league, so it was they more than held their own on that. Our focus was really to try to challenge these guys as much as we could, for the long term, rather than try to get as many wins as we could. And like I said, they still won a lot of games. Practicing against the red team twice a week was also something that really helped us. And that's a great group of kids, and I know we helped them, and they certainly helped us as well. But I told our guys on several occasions I wouldn't have traded any one of them for any player we faced all year. We were a family, and I enjoyed every minute. I loved every minute coaching those guys.
Well, Coach, let's bring up your players. Let's introduce your players. We'll start off with the first player that you want to bring up.
Sure. This is Drew Carlson right here. Come on up, Drew. Drew has a great passion for the game. He's one of our primary ball handlers, and we ask a lot of him every single game. Drew shoots the ball very well. And he's also a guy that when we're trying to protect a lead at the end of the game, we want the ball in his hands because not only is he a really good ball handler, but he's money from the free throw line.
Drew, welcome to the show. And tell me about your game a little bit. Coach says you like to handle the dribble, and especially when the game's on the line.
So like he said, I'm kind of the best ball handler and shooter on the team, and I'm a really good shooter.
How great is it to play with these guys? Good teammates?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about them.
They're friendly, and they treat me well, and they don't put me down a lot.
What are some things you worked on this year in practice to try and get better?
Shooting, dribbling, playing against the red team a lot to get us better, and getting us a little challenge to the other teams.
Well, thank you for being on our show tonight. All the best to you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, Coach.
All right. Next up is Austin Ridenauer. And Austin was our leading scorer this year. And Austin's a really good shooter from the outside, and he can also take his man off the dribble and finish in the lane as well. And he's also one of our main ball handlers, and we asked a lot from him this year, and he delivered almost every time.
Austin, welcome to the show, and tell me about this great season that you had.
It's been fun playing with all of these. I just loved having fun with them and playing basketball games with them.
Tell me about your game. What do you like to do in basketball?
Shoot and score.
All right. How do you score? How were you able to score this year?
Get outside shots and then just take the people to the basket.
What were some things you were working on this year to try and get better?
My ball handling, my shooting.
How'd that ball handling come along for you this year?
Did good.
Well, you enjoy playing with the teammates. Good group of boys to play with.
Yep.
All right. Well, Austin, I appreciate you being on the show. All the best to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we got Berkeley Campbell. If there's one word I could use to describe Berkeley, it's crafty. There were countless times this year when it looked like the other team had him trapped in a corner somewhere, and before you knew it, you looked up and he was somehow wiggled out of it and is, dribbling to the basket for a score or making a great pass to a teammate for a score. He's got a great attitude. He never complains about anything, and he's just been a pleasure to coach.
Berkeley, tell me about playing on this team this year. How much fun was it?
It was pretty fun.
Now, Coach says you wiggle out of these traps. How do you get out of the traps? You got some pretty good moves?
Yeah.
Talk about your game. What kind of player are you? Do you like to play, like to shoot and score a lot?
Yeah.
How many points have you scored in a game before? Do you know?
15.
Points. All right. What did you work on this year in practice to get better? What did you want to work on this year?
Ball handling.
How'd that come along for you? Did you see a lot of improvement?
Yeah.
Well, Berkeley, thanks for being on the show. All right, Coach.
All right, Kevin. Next up, we've got Hank Bennett. Hank was new to the white team this year, and we were thrilled to have him. Hank has great athleticism. He's always hustling. You never have to tell Hank to go any harder than what he naturally does. And Hank sort of became our resident rim protector this year. He had several monster block shots on teams this year. So we were thrilled to have Hank as a part of our team this year.
Wow, sounds like you dominated the lane there, Hank.
Yeah.
You enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about a big game this year, a performance for you, and what was so good about it? Is there anything come to mind, a big highlight this year?
Probably against Noblesville.
Why Noblesville?
Because I had several points, probably a couple blocks, and a lot of rebounds.
How great was it you're new to this team, right?
Yeah.
How great was it to play with this team this year?
Good.
What are some things you really worked on this year in practice?
Doing my box outs, and yeah.
Did you work on your shooting quite a bit?
Yeah.
How about your dribbling?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show, Hank. All the best to you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, Coach.
All right, next up we have Oliver Sanchez. Oliver's another player that has great athleticism, Kevin. He always brings a ton of energy when he's on the floor. And Ollie's real strength this year for us was on defense, leaving his man and trapping. A lot of times, sneaking up from behind the guy, and he got a ton of steals, ton of jump balls for us this year. And we really enjoyed Ollie's contributions for us this year.
Ollie, you like to play the defense, huh?
Yeah,
Why defense? What do you like about defense?
I like to get steals.
All right, good. A lot of guys like to play the offense, Coach, but not too many people like to play the defense. Well, Ollie, tell me about this season. What was a big game for you? Is there something that comes to mind, a particular team that you played this year where maybe you got a lot of steals and got a few baskets?
Not that I know of, but I feel like in I'd say Brownsburg, I had some get behind the back steals, sneak behind, but he didn't like it sometimes.
Well, that's sometimes you get out of position, right? Then you got to make sure your man doesn't score, right? All right. What are things you worked on this year to get better?
I really wanted to get better at ball handling and some shooting forms.
Did you feel like you improved in those areas this year?
Yeah, each year I've improved a lot.
Well, Ollie, I appreciate you being on the show. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Grayson Alvey. Grayson just happens to be my favorite player on the team, but but Grayson's always been a good defender. He's always been a pretty good rebounder. His biggest stride that he made from last year to this was with his ball handling, his ball security, and also his ability to penetrate and pass. And I think Grayson has just now this season learned the value of a good pass, and hopefully he continues to work on his game and continue to improve.
Well, Grayson, welcome to the show. It sounds like you're a good teammate. You like to set up your teammates with good passes. Is that right?
Yeah.
And why do you like to pass so much?
I don't know. I just feel like we have enough scorers on our team somebody needs to get them shots for it.
How about your defense? You like to play a little bit of defense?
Yeah, because when there's a certain guy that I need to shut down, maybe he's really good at shooting the three, then I can probably shut him down.
Now, what are some things you worked on this year to get better?
Probably ball handling and probably getting to the rim and finishing, because I'm not the greatest scorer in the world.
Did Did you feel like you were able to improve throughout the season on those?
Yes, I really do.
Well, Grayson, thanks for being on the show. All the best to you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up we've got Beckett York. As you can see, Beckett is a big, strong kid. He rebounds the ball very well for us. But he also has, in my opinion, the best natural shooting form on the team, and he can definitely knock down the outside shot. So he's a threat from both inside and outside.
So, Beckett, you like to shoot that shot, huh?
Yeah.
Who taught you how to shoot?
Probably Johnny Marlin. You definitely did. My dad. We did a lot of stuff shooting.
So you do a lot of work in practice, but a lot of work on your own as well.
Yeah.
Well, how great was it to play with these guys this year?
It was super fun. All my friends, super fun with them.
So great teammates.
Yeah.
Now, where do you kind of want to work on now going forward?
Probably in my off season, probably jumping off 2 feet into men, and probably finishing. I've missed a lot of wide open layups. Probably need to work on it.
Using the glass, right?
Yeah.
That's right, the old backboard. Well, Beckett, thanks for being on the show. Sounds like you had a great season.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Coach, I think we've gone through all the players, and we have one left.
Yeah, we've got one more. Cam Smith, unfortunately, woke up sick this morning, and he couldn't be here. I know he's really bummed out about that, but wanted to talk a little bit about him. Cam is also a big, strong kid. He's the kind of player that has what I call a nose for the ball. He always seems to be in the right spot when the shot goes up. He knows where to position himself, gets a lot of offensive rebounds that way. But a lot like Beckett, he can also really knock down the outside shot. So he's also a dual threat for us. But we'd like to say get well to Cam. Get well, Cam.
Well, Coach, I just want to say thank you for bringing in the kids. Great team, great group of parents here tonight. It was really great to celebrate a great season.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
All right, thank you. That's going to wrap up our show from Campbell's Highland Grill. Until next time, this is Kevin Conrad saying so long, everyone.